Hello and welcome to NRI News 24x7. This is Rizwan Sayed, your host, and today we're going to talk about health services that are offered by Aditya Birla Hospital in Pune. And to do this, we have with us Rekha Dube, who is the CEO of Aditya Birla Hospital, and Dr. Sneha, who is the center head for Mpower. Mpower is a mental health unit that was recently inaugurated at the Aditya Birla Hospital in Pune. So before we start this conversation, let me welcome Rekha ji, who is the CEO of Aditya Birla Hospital. Thank you for being with us here today. And also welcome Dr. Sneha, who is the center head for Mpower. Rekha ji, my question to you is, the health services that has been offered by Aditya Birla Hospital in Pune, how different they are, or what is how important they are in the region where the hospital is located?
First of all, thank you so much, Rizwan, for inviting us for discussing about the health services, which is the need of the nation. And you chose such topics to discuss on the same. The question what you asked that what innovation and how it's different than others in the industry. If you see that we are near to highways, both the highways Pune and Bombay Expressway, as well as that old Bombay Pune highway. So we are just nearby, and it's one of the largest medicity has been built up by the Birla family. 16 or 17 years back, yes, they chose the place. I must convey you the thought process, the reasons of that choosing that place was praiseworthy. And with that thought process, yes, they gone into the built up the hospital. The hospital, what they built up, it is the one of the best in the industry. We were the pathfinders for the industry to have such kind of infra and how the hospital should have their planning, and why the planning is so important to build up this kind of buildings and all. That was the thought process they built up the hospital, and these are the points where we can say yes, we are unique in this industry. Then we are the different than the industry, because prior to that, yes, people had the mind ki hospital banana hai, which they have done. But this hospital has been built up with the thought process of how they are going to cater the patients, how the entry will be, how the exit will be, how that, yes, the critical people are going to be, what type of area should be, how much space should be. If you see the corridors are, that time, yes, it was built up with that 8.5 feet. So as equivalent to that internationally, wherever, yes, you will go, that you will find out, yes, not less than, I will say rather 1%, 2% way ahead than other whatever the international norms are. Such way of the yes, thinking, such way of the innovative thought process, and built up the hospital. The building of that hospital or designing of the hospital was that how best we can give that client, how best we can give to that needy, and base and maybe that's thought behind is yes, people are in agony, those who are thinking to come to the hospital, they should come with lots of hope, because the pillars of the hospital is 4H. It's described like that, okay, the people should come with lots of hope. This is the definition of first H. That yes, into that, the moment they enter into that, yes, we should be able to give them a healing. The based on the healing, it's defined as the second H. With our healings, yes, they should have their gain the happiness, which is the definition of the third H. While going back, they should have their health going to be, because they come with lots of agony. That is my 4H. So that's that, yes, where all the 4Hs has been built up with that all four corners of the hospital. That was the thought process. So you can, yes, think how much, yes, they've gone into that building, only this building and designing the part of the building. Now, if you come to the services, you name it, every services are being offered in-house. So nothing, yes, the moment you will enter into, You need not to think, yes, this service is not available. I have to have that, yes, go out, or maybe I need to arrange how I'm going to get my help. Every services are, yes, available in-house, being a transplant, being that, yes, transfusion, the oncology, then radiation, then, yes, robotic surgeries, name that, everything is. Amongst them also, if you'll ask me, some of the areas are very touchy for the families. Mother and child wings are been designed in a such a way, it's a hospital within the hospital. Yes, any pregnant lady should not have that, yes, entering into the main corridor, so that, yes, with the labor and all, she should not be seen anywhere. Her entries are in different areas. You will enter because that's a happy moment. And these are the areas where we deal with that, yes, patients. Happy moments should not be mixed with that, yes, patient area. So their entries are different, their exits are different, their color combinations are different. Similarly, if you see that chemotherapy, yes, it's again a different kind of pain. They have their own building, they have their own floor, and they should not have that, yes, feeling, I'm going to the hospital and again I'll have the similar kind of pain. For them, the color combinations are different, their stays are different, there are people, those who are caring them, it's a different. And every human touch has to have their in care, so that, yes, they should not feel lonely, they should not feel the pain. So that's the thought process are getting. For them, it's total wings are decided. Their color, their aesthetics, their chair, their sitting, everything is we thought into how one person will be feeling to going to the hospital. They should not think about twice. They should just coming to. Similar, irrespective of that critical care areas, if you go to the critical care areas, that all the cubicles are being designed in a different color coding, so that, yes, those who are in a critical care areas, they, how the painful for them, or maybe for the families.
Right.
Going through the color, with going through the, yes, music and the healing therapy, they should not have that much depressions or the depressing areas. That was the thought process to build up and give them a comfort. Services wise, yes, every services are. Now, recently, even the COVID, yes, we were the first to allow the relatives, because we Indian have the emotions more. We try to, yes, be with the people. My thought process was, yes, if we will allow any relative to enter into, at least the healing will be the faster. We started first to relatives, yes, with all the precautions and all. You can go once in a week initial, then after that twice in a week, and results were fabulous, because we treated almost that 80 beds were critical care beds defined by us, and we treated that youngest to oldest. And one person was probably that's more than 65 days in ICU. And that's when they were going home, there's the happiness what we got it. Okay, whatever we tried to do, it's really gave us the return, because the moment you treat and moment you get, yes, patients are going home, you get, yes, what we have done, we achieved something. So services wise, yes, we did everything. Then recently, yes, as you know, we have started one setup of Mpower, because this area is much needed for the society, because in a busy schedule, everybody needs some kinds of, the people go through ups and downs in office, then home, then areas, they need something. For that, yes, we asked the Mpower, Mrs. Birla, yes, this you can start here, because they're. And we are surrounded by youngsters, that school, college people they need more. With that thought process, yes, he was kind enough to choose the place and start the center. I think, yes, the center is doing good, and we'll be able to give the society back. Let's see how much, but I'm sure we will be able to. So that's the thought process.
Thank you, Rekha ji.
Thank you.
I think Mpower is really a kind of innovation and evolution of health services that has happened to Aditya Birla Hospital. So with this thought, let's move over to Dr. Sneha. Dr. Sneha, why do you think Mpower as a health service is important to the services that are being offered with Aditya Birla Hospital?
So, like Rekha Madam said, Aditya Birla Hospital has a host of services, and Empower was started with it was born out of a lot of passion to cater to mental health needs of all age groups. So, we just wanted to broaden the mental health services that were already being offered at Aditya Birla. So, in addition to having a psychiatrist and psychologist, we also have occupational therapists, speech therapists, remedial educators. So, it brings all wholesome mental health care under one roof. So we had the first center in Mumbai, followed by Bangalore, Kolkata, and when the time came for Pune, it only made sense to incorporate the mental health care with the medical health care that was being offered in the premises here.
Why do you think mental health care is important in today's era? We've just come out of the pandemic, and people are trying to be free now. So how important is mental health?
So yeah, we tend to compartmentalize physical health and mental health. So while there are many biological changes seen in physical illness, mental illness also has an underlying neurobiological phenomenon at the core of it. The problem is we do not talk about mental health as much as and as comfortably as we should be talking. It's easier to talk about diabetes or hypertension than it is to talk about depression or any mental illness. So, agar mala depression hai, mi psychiatrist kade jaun alo. The first thing is, "Ho, kai mantoy." So this is the kind of thing, especially a lot of young adults, they feel a lot of shame and stigma, but it has changed with the pandemic. There has been access to a lot of material over the internet. People have realized that they also have a mental health to take care of. And there was this whole pandemic of mental illness looming for many, many years. And I think the COVID-19 pandemic has just brought it to the forefront now. So when you have a mental illness, it also comes with some physical symptoms, but there are a lot of mental symptoms that a person finds it difficult to communicate to others. So a person is not only distressed, but it also impacts their interpersonal life, their social life, their work or academic lives. And it just, interferes with their quality of life. So there are a lot of maladaptive coping patterns that people resort to, like, substance use or gambling or gaming on the internet these days. So it's very important we talk about the do's and don'ts for good mental health, as well as, understand what are the red flags and when it is time for you to see a mental health professional.
Well, thank you, Dr. Sneha. I have a question for Rekha ji. Rekha ji, as you are the CEO of the Aditya Birla Hospital, can you share some experience about some patients, which has touched your heart, or where you had to, you have got some sort of innovation executed?
Yes, that touch to heart almost, I will say, every day someone others says that you face and you get to two emotions and that you go into that. Yes, I'm in industry, it's a right place for me. Definitely, I'll share one story. I was, it's 5 or 6 years ago that I was driving to that road. And I saw that yes, that many people were standing and gossiping. And some blood was coming. Then I saw that I just got down and that I seen one lady and she was in pregnancy and labor pain. And people were just, if that what they were doing. I said, oh my God. And almost that half baby was out. Then I called up that ambulance. Then we rushed to that hospital and that and the road only while road only that she delivered the baby. Now the baby was premature. What to do? And she was, I believe, she was a worker in that some construction site.
Okay.
And then people were started saying, "Kya karenge, kaise karenge? Why you took that?" There are so many things. If and buts. I said, "Okay, nothing." And it's a premature baby. Baby was 3 to 4 months in the hospital, and baby we took care that now the baby is fine. Now they went to Noida. The lady was, what to say? post-discharge, yes, some complication in that, yes, delivery, then post-delivery. Now, many things. And, all the expertise with the doctors, whatever, yes, they gave the care. Yes, he was in ICU, the baby was in an ICU, mother was in ICU. Father was, yes, you know how they will be not able to pay any penny. He never used to visit the wife, never used to see the baby. In fact, the baby was a baby girl. Again, there was a stigma. After that, yes, lots of counseling. Almost 6 months, this took 6 months in the hospital. Yes, they gone into the lots of counseling, and then father, yes, was ready to take the baby back and wife back. And finally, yes, we somehow, as a friends and all, we try to settle the family. Now the family is in Noida, baby is in school going.
Wow.
So that's the area, yes, to touch the heart. Second thing was I was going to drop my mother in the early morning around 4:30. I was coming back from the railway station. There we saw that some smoke is coming. We stopped the car. What happened? There was a major accident was with that some youngster was driving and some truck and all got major bash. We saw that 2 dead bodies on that on road, and one car was burning where the 2 life was again that they were just bit breathings and all, but almost it was burning. People were just discussing what to say. Then we called her that, yes, again the ambulance tried to take it back. The one young girl and one driver. Almost body was, I think, 18 or 19 fracture was with that girl. Yes, we took to the hospital now that both 3 to 4 months she was in, and they were from the Rajasthan states. 2, so yes, we were not able to save, but 2 we've already saved. That now the girl is fine. She's started her office going, got married. So these are the areas, yes, you think you've done something while working in the hospital. So by God's grace, we are in a good place. We are able to do something for the society. It's a touch to the heart.
Definitely, Rekha ji. I mean, this is not just something, it's, real care. You have used your position to not only save a mother and a child, but also a family in the long run. And 6 months is a long time taking care of your patient. This definitely is an excellent thing that you have done.
These are the moments, yes, you do remember, yes, you have done something.
I mean, yeah, you could have choose to, stay away from it like the others around, but you choose to indulge into it and, become a savior for those affected. So that's a real kind heart. So with this, I would like to ask a question to Dr. Sneha. Today this pandemic has brought us very close to our mobile phones and to our mobile devices. Now, how does that challenge the mental health of an individual? When I say individual, it's children, youngsters who have their families or who are working, and even the seniorities.
So what has happened is screen time has gone up, and of course with children you see a lot of them going to the ophthalmologist now first. It can interfere with their attention span, because if you see the mobile, there are constantly suggestions coming up. If you open YouTube, you have like so many suggestions coming up, and it's difficult for children to sustain on one topic or one video for a prolonged period of time, because the other choice looks more tempting. So in future, these children can tend to have attention issues, concentration issues, focus issues. Also, there is tendency to avoid real play when you have something very exciting on the screen. So peer interaction gets affected, bonding, forming those social relationships, those friendships, looking forward to that together, time goes down. There's also something called as virtual autism. So you tend to see autistic tendencies in children, like, they will not maintain eye contact when they are talking to you, or they will not be able to hold interactions in a normal way that a child of that age should be. So those problems are increasing. in the elderly as well, because it's just this newfound way to connect to everybody and to reach out to the world. It's just so exciting for them. And again, I feel the elderly are just like children. You really need to monitor them sometimes. So some of them find it difficult to draw a boundary as to how much they should be using it. They tend to believe everything that comes with it. And many times in our clinics, we have seen sometimes in mental illness, people tend to hold some beliefs. And because this is like very sci-fi stuff is available, a lot of different kind of stimuli on the mobile. For the less educated ones, especially, they start believing in a few things which may not be true. Spending time on the screen increases a lot, and especially when you use a lot of screen time in the evenings, there is bright light in it, which interferes with this chemical called melatonin, which is there in your brain, which gives you signals that you should be going to sleep now. That's why most living beings, most living creatures sleep at night when the sun goes down. So bright light is a stimulant for your brain. Also, there's a lot of content that stays with you in your subconscious, and some people tend to have increased dreaming when they are exposed to more bright light. So essentially, whoever comes to us, we review their sleep hygiene and we tell them that you have to avoid screen time at least 2 hours before going to bedtime. With the adult population also, IT is in boom in our country for the last many years, and already they were having a lot of screen times. And with children now having online schooling, you never know when one shifts from one screen to another. And there have been a few studies that too much of screen time can lead to lasting damage to certain neuronal networks. So it's definitely not healthy.
Okay. Thank you, doctor, for sharing your opinions about screen time and about talking about how to use mobile devices more effectively and the care that they need to take. With this, I would like Rekha ji to comment about what new services would Aditya Birla Hospital be coming up with in the near future.
Well, that, as I told you, that almost every service is what we are offering. Now that only the hospital is not offering heart transplant, which is that we were already on that. For that, yes, you need a lots of approval from the authorities. Paper and all activities have already been done. So we were hoping, so yes, the pre-COVID only will get the approval, but in that case, the COVID came, the 2 years have passed. And that what we are looking for now is that with the initiation, we will should get the approval because things are at place. And heart transplant plus, we would next we would like to start the lung transplant activities, so that near future that also should hospital should have. Plus that hospital, as you know, that hospital is built for the giving the services for the needy, those who are unhealthy or maybe that's health-wise they need. My thought process is why somebody need a hospitalization, they should not have. For that, as a hospital owner or maybe that's a healthcare worker, we should be working on to give them a healthy life. So lots of yes, that my thought process is you should not be coming to the hospital. For that, yes, we should be working for the society. And lots of that wellness activities, what we are pushing and we are wanting to, so that yes, they should be away from the hospital. That's my thought process. Let's see how much we can able to do. That's a big question mark, but I'm sure if we will try, definitely we will be able to come forward. So that is the near future, what I'm looking for, has to be.
Thank you, Rekha ji. I'm sure you would achieve all that you have just shared.
Thank you.
With the kind of dedication that you have given to this hospital, I think impossible is not possible.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So, Dr. Sneha, before we conclude, can you give us some tips where people should go down for mental wellness, or they could detect symptoms of mental wellness?
Mental illness or wellness?
I would call it wellness.
Okay. Yes. So I agree with Rekha ma'am that wellness should be emphasized, whether it's physical health or mental health. So I think practicing positive mental attitudes, is important. Having a good work-life balance. With work from home, the boundaries are blurred. So it's very important you have a good work-life balance. Spending time in recreation and leisure activities, taking time to unwind, trying to be one with nature, that's very important. Having some form of physical exercise. The WHO has guidelines on how much physical exercise one should have, depending on their age groups. So physical exercise also impacts mental health and vice versa. So having some form of physical exercise, having a routine in your day, having your food at a particular time, sleeping at a particular time. So there are these biological and social rhythms that our brain responds to. So making sure that the rhythms are well tuned and not chaotic.
Mhm.
Also, when you are having any negative mood states, it's important to reach out to someone who you feel safe and secure with, somebody who listens to you non-judgmentally. A lot of time our near and dear ones are very emotionally invested in us, and they have this thinking, I want to give some immediate solutions, and often it starts with, hey, kuch bhi lagta hai tumko. It should not be like that. So I think that is where a mental health professional comes in. You need a safe, neutral, non-judgmental space to discuss what you have been thinking about, what you have been feeling, and how is it that you feel about it, how that makes you, what is the experience that it brings. It's not always that you should go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a therapist because of having a problem. A lot of people also believe in self-work. So they just maybe want to be a better version of themselves, or there's a certain area in their life that they don't feel comfortable about. There's a certain relationship that is bringing some distress into their lives. So it's important you address it in a safe and giving environment. Also, signs of mental illness, it's important that you pick them up. Say if you've been experiencing low mood states for many, many days. I'm going to talk about depression because that's the commonest that we see. So your mood has not been okay for most days, maybe for a period of 2 weeks or more, or you don't feel interested in things that you previously enjoyed doing, or even simple chores like getting up, taking a bath, they seem too much, or talking to your family members seems too much. You want to be restricted in your room. You don't want to meet anybody. You don't want to go out. You don't feel like reading or doing anything at all. Your energy levels are very low. You just feel very bleak and dark. You tend to feel helpless. You cry for no reason. Your appetite goes down or it can increase on the contrary. You're not able to sleep. If you're finding these kind of problems, then yes, it's time. Because when mental illness becomes severe, the repercussions can be bad. Say, for example, if depression is very severe, people can stop eating so they can have physical health outcomes out of it. They tend to harbor suicidal ideas. So what if somebody acts on those ideas? It's a loss. So it's very important that we talk about it, because we never know how bad it gets when it gets severe. We only get to know of the untoward outcomes, and even they don't get discussed as much as they should be. Having said that, there are many different kinds of mental illnesses. Mental illnesses can affect your mood, your thoughts, your behavior, okay, and your patterns of interactions and being in your environment. So it is important to talk about mental wellness, because only then we will begin proceeding towards the talking about mental illness, because it's on a spectrum, it's on a continuum.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dr. Sneha. And thank you, Rekha ji, for sharing your opinions with us. It was a pleasure to meet with you virtually this time. And we hope that, we are able to convert the virtual into the real very soon.
Oh, yes.
And take care of the pandemic is now under control, but hopefully, things will improve, and we will be able to get to our regular way of life very soon. And we
Yes,
believe
yes.
that Aditya Birla Hospital will always be there for everyone to take care of.
So
Thank
nice.
you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure meeting you. Huh? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rekha ji.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Sam.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day, ma'am. Yeah.